Each and every Wednesday at sportsmemo.com, you will get a 33% discount on everything you fit into your cart using coupon code CART33 when checking out. Whether it's a daily package, a one-day all-access, a 3, 7, or 30-day package, a full season of sports of your choice, or a full 12-month from your favorite handicapper, you will save 33% using coupon code CART33 on Fill Your Cart Wednesday. You can fill your cart as many times as you want each and every Wednesday. And even better, coupon code CART33 never changes and will become active each week at 12:01 and last until the clock strikes midnight.
Welcome everyone to the NBA Triple Double Show for February the 16th, 2022. It's Wednesday, and I am joined by my usual co-host on this show. It's always Ronald and myself, so welcome to the show, Ronald. We're going to get started right away here with the Battle of New York. I don't know how else to see it, but the Brooklyn Nets seem to be rejuvenated with the addition of at least two of the three players from the 76ers in Andre Drummond and Seth Curry. They both played exceptionally well. Curry had 23 points for a team high that ended a 10-game skid. Now, not many teams have ever had a 10-game skid and still be above 500. But the Knicks continue to be floundering. My humble opinion, Ronald, they're 12th in the Eastern Conference. Brooklyn is barely in the playoffs at this point, 8th in the Eastern Conference. The line for this game opened up with the Knicks installed as a 3.5-point favorite. They're now 4 points. The total has been rock solid at 217 points. You see anything going on here in the betting markets that could give us a lean or a best bet?
Yeah, you mentioned that the Nets, they had like a 11-game losing streak, and with Curry and Drummond in the lineup, and Durant, Harris, Irving, and Simmons out, they kind of have a scrappy squad out there left on the court. They're playing some solid defense. They limited the Kings to just 84 points, and that's 25 points below their season average. So you can tell, like, the addition of Curry and Drummond, they brought some defense over from the Sixers, and there isn't too much offense until Durant, Harris, and Irving come back into the lineup here. They're playing a first game of a back-to-back road to home games as well. And then on the Knicks side, you have Rose, Noel, and RJ Barrett out. They've lost 6 of the last 7, including losses to the Blazers and an overtime loss to the Thunder without SGA and Lou Dort. So they're struggling right now, both on the offensive side and the defensive side. To me, I like the Nets to continue to play solid defense here until Durant and Irving, Joe Harris, and Ben Simmons come onto the court. I think they limit the Knicks here. I don't do this too often, but I do like the Knicks under their team total today.
Yeah, I think so. I'm kind of leaning towards the over in the game, but that would imply that the wrong team is favored here, and the Nets would exceed their team total then, because I do think that the Knicks will struggle, and the presence of Andre Drummond in the paint. If you hadn't watched the Sixers game before then, just tune in the last one or the game against Memphis when he had 24 rebounds, and you'll understand where I'm coming from. There is an under system here, and this has hit 67% over the last 5 seasons, Ronald, but it is winless this season at 0-5.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of begs the question that, this thing's done 67%, well, actually higher than that over the last 5 years. Now it's gone 0-5. It seems to me that the probabilities would favor that this system gets back into the win column. And I do think I'm going to change my mind on the show and lean under. And this betting angle is play under with any team revenging a loss to an opponent against an opponent off an upset win by 15 or more points as a home underdog, and that would be, we're talking about the Nets. The team revenging the loss, obviously, is the New York Knicks. So that has gone 35-16 for 67% over the last 5 years, including 0-5 this year. 57% of these bets made went under by more than 10 points. And this is a pretty powerful angle that has not won this entire season, and it's time for that to reverse, I think. So let's just lean under here, and I definitely like that under in the New York Knicks team total for sure. Our next game is the Utah Jazz are visiting the Los Angeles Lakers. A ton of money is coming in on Utah, and the line really hasn't changed, but 74% of the bets and money are on the Jazz. I'm a little concerned that the line didn't, go up to 6 or 6.5, but it is rock solid at 5.5. The total is right now 226 points, which seems to be pretty right spot on where I would have expected it. Two questions, Ronald. Do you think the Lakers make the playoffs? My answer is no. And second of all, do you see any opportunity in the betting markets with this game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tight for the Lakers. It really depends on how they come out of this All-Star break, what type of motivation and urgency that they play with after the break here. And it can even start today. I mean, this is a key game here against another Western Conference opponent. Obviously, the Jazz, from what I've seen in the injury report, I think Gobert is going to be back today, and that's going to be a huge boost for them. But they've been playing so long without him, it could be one of those games where, when you get a key player back into the starting lineup and playing heavy minutes, that, this sort of the team chemistry kind of goes sideways a little bit, because they were struggling without him initially. Then Mitchell came back and they started to streak a little bit. And then now they have another big change with Rudy Gobert coming back. So it could be one of those, take one game off type of things where to get back into it, and the Lakers benefit from it. And the Lakers, they're rested. This is only their third game in 8 nights. So that's big for them here. And they're, I think, to me, it seems like it favors more on the total side than the side. They're 7-2-2 to the over with at least 2 days of rest. And the Jazz, they're 8-5 to the over when less rested than their opponent. To me, I would lean more towards the over here, but I do kind of like the Lakers in this spot. I think this is a good spot to back the Lakers here. Maybe as home dogs and against a conference opponent. This is, if they're gonna play all out, this might be one of the games that they do it.
That's a great breakdown, Ronald. The fact that Utah has Rudy Gobert is back. I looked at the injury report, so let me just get that again here real quick, because the only guy listed on their sheet, and it's right here, Rudy Gay is out for the night, and that was clearly expected. Missed the last 4 contests with right knee soreness, and he will not take the court for at least Wednesday's battle against the Lakers. The Lakers have a lot of injuries. Anthony Davis is probable for tonight. Avery Bradley is out. Carmelo Anthony is out with hamstring. LeBron James is questionable. He's bothered by a sore left knee and is unknown at this point whether he's going to be in the lineup tonight. And that begs the question, do we obviously lean an under team total with Utah Jazz? Wow. This is obviously one of those matchups we have to wait till closer to game time to see if these players are going to play. And as I was reading those off, Ron, I didn't know that there were so many that were kind of on the fence. Either way they could play, and those names are going to move the line one way or the other.
To me, I think
wow.
I noticed the injury report on the Lakers side, but to me, I think the biggest line mover here, as far as like the total goes, is Anthony Davis because of his defense. Obviously, the line would move with LeBron, but the total should move with Anthony Davis, in my opinion. He's the guy that is their key defender, and if he's probable, I think that's where we're more solid looking at the total side.
Yeah, I agree. All right, good stuff. Let's move on to our third and final game, which is another intriguing matchup. It's the Denver Nuggets taking to the road to play the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors are second in the Western Conference behind the Phoenix Suns. Both of those teams are in the same division. Golden State is only a 5.5-point favorite. Ronald, I thought it might be a little bit higher. 72% of the bets so far are on the Warriors, 28% on the Nuggets, and the line still hasn't moved. I'm initially here kind of sticking my neck out with a contrarian play, obviously, on the Denver Nuggets. I had a game last night for my models in college basketball. It was Penn State. And honestly, I went with my math and my models, and that's the key to my stuff because it keeps me away from saying, oh, man, Penn State has no chance against a ranked team named Michigan State. Well, Penn State won. So by comparison, do you think this is another opportunity for an upset bid by the Nuggets?
I mean, it could be but the thing to think about there, it's rarely a time where we see that when a Warriors game, they don't get most of the tickets anyways. I think they're just a public favorite regardless. But they haven't covered in what is it here? 6 straight games. They haven't covered in 6 straight games. But this is they're just tight favorites here. They're actually 9-1 straight up and 7-3 against the spread as home favorites of 6 points or less. They average 115.5 points per game in those games, and they allow 102.1 points per game in those games. But I mean, they played different teams, right? But I think the Nuggets, they're on a 2-game win streak, and they tend to struggle on the road. They're 3-6-1 against the spread going from home to road, and 3-8 against the spread as road dogs in conference games. So I think, to me, it's tough to look at percentages, especially in Warriors games, just because the public just likes these guys regardless. So we can't really tell if it's the public or the sharps on that side, unless the line moves. And like you mentioned, the line hasn't moved yet. So this one's a little bit tough to me. I do like the Warriors here, but you do make some good points.
Well, I'm just pulling up on the database as I was looking down. I wasn't trying to be rude, certainly, but the Warriors, I was put in on a 4-game ATS losing streak, are 9-10 over the last 5 years. So it hasn't happened very often. On a 5-game ATS losing streak, they're 5-4 against the spread. So not much there, but I was curious to know how a winning team like the Warriors over this many years does when they continue to lose. So the point is that just because a team like the Warriors lost 6 in a row to the spread doesn't necessarily mean that has been overshot and they can't lose a 6th or a 7th one. So there's really not anything analytical here with their ATS losing streak on either side, but I see your point with, I mean, it's so hard to fade the Warriors at home.
Yeah. Another thing to bring up too, this is a revenge game. The Nuggets beat the Warriors earlier this season, and the Warriors are 5-0 against the spread in those situations. So that's another way to look at it too. The motivation that goes into the game here. Maybe the Warriors want to avenge that loss going into the All-Star break, just to keep their momentum, to pick up some momentum, because they've lost 3 of the last 4 games. So I don't know if they want to go into the break on a losing streak.
It's a good point. Initially here, the over is my lean. There's a system here betting over with any team that is a team that's averaging 108 to 114 points per game. I use the 108 because that's the league average, and that's the pivot point up or down. I do that every year. And they're also playing against a defensive team allowing 104 to 108 points per game. And after that team, Golden State, allowed 115 or more points in 2 consecutive games. That translates into a 65-33 over record, and that's 62% over the last, believe it or not, 25 years. So I guess initially here I'll lean over in this game, and now we'll move on to our best bets for the show, which always is a challenge to narrow down 1 or 2. But I come back to that Knicks game, and I don't mean to steal it from you, but I really like what you said about the Knicks team total and betting it under. So with your permission, I will make that my show best bet.
No, let's go with it. I think I obviously agree with you. So yeah, let's make that one our official one.
All right, and I'll just add this for thought: the Utah Jazz playing the Lakers. the Jazz on the road. You mentioned about the chemistry issues with a key player like Gobert coming back in. And this is only a lean, and maybe I'll look on Twitter for our timelines. I think an in-game live bet during the first half, if you can get the Jazz at Pick'em, and just do like a pizza or maybe double pizza size money at max, I think that might be fun to do. I don't see them losing the game necessarily, but I think at pick you have a lot of opportunity to come away with some extra pizzas. Mm-hmm. So that'll do it for our show, Ronald. Unfortunately, we're at the end of it, but I want to thank you for your time, and make sure you get over to sportsmemo.com, guys and gals, and get on our subscriptions. The marketing team at SportsMemo does an excellent job in providing discounts on our subscriptions for us. And both of us are doing well in the NBA and college basketball. I do have a 5%er game of the month up tonight, so I encourage you to go over and get that. I won my last one by 19 points, and it covered by 15 points. And that was back on January 7th. So this is a game I obviously like quite a bit too. Branded as a 5%er. It's as high as I go. So give it a shot and make sure you get Ronald's picks too. He was the big winner yesterday in the $2 Tuesday with the Memphis Grizzlies covering easily. So, that's the proof in the pudding, as they say. So we'll be back on Friday looking at the All-Star game and also a look at the remaining schedule and who we think might be in the Final Four and who the conference champions might be. So that'll be fun to do with you, Ronald. And until then, remember everyone, bet with your head, never over it, and may all the wins be yours.